last question. And I want to thank Matt right now for spending so much of his time answering your questions. Regarding inertance, does the vocal tract have to be partially closed, like in a lip-trill, or can twang also create inertance? From Karen Riveni.
Good. So I'm not a massive expert on the physics of this. I've sat down and tried to go through all the physics of what Ingo Tietze is looking at, and I can't answer all that for you. But what I can tell you is that essentially it makes a lot of sense, is that if you think about it as a water hose, if you have a water hose connected to your faucet and you turn it on, you'll hear the sound of the water moving and there'll be some sort of a hum. And the second that you start to pinch that hose, you're going to hear the hum of the faucet change. Because as you create a limitation, some of the water is going to end up trying to push back against that faucet, and it's going to change and give you resistance as the other air is or as the water is trying to come out of the faucet. And that essentially is any kind of kink in that hose is going to cause back pressure on where the water originated. When you're singing, anytime you start to narrow something in the vocal tract, you are more than likely going to be causing some sort of backward air pressure that's going to have an impact on the vocal mechanism. Yeah. So at the same time, you have atmospheric pressure. And so the atmospheric pressure outside of your mouth, if this position, is different than right? As I open up my mouth, you're hitting more of the resistance of the atmospheric pressure than of the lips. So from my understanding of this is that every movement has some amount of reactive inertance. We know at certain points we get more beneficial, right? So for instance, Ingo said in his most recent webinar that if we get down to that drinking size straw, which I think is 1 to 2 millimeters, that seems to have the most opening effect in that epilarynx area, that we literally see on strobes that space open up, right? Whereas when you're on some of the bigger straws, you may not get that same effect. So what I would suggest to you, I'm a big fan of when in doubt, refer out. And when we have experts in things, I learn as much as I can, but then say, go ask them. I would look up Ingo Tietze online on YouTube, and you're going to find some of his videos talking about this reactive inertance and straw phonation. And I think you can learn a whole lot from him. But just know that anytime we're making shape changes inside of the vocal tract, there are potential impacts on the vocal fold vibration. So if you're thinking, man, when I sing this vowel, what usually feels easy in terms of register is tough, you're not making that up. It's probably something in your vocal tract on that vowel that's causing some sort of air pressure difference. So modify your vowel a little bit until you find the sweet spot where the resonance supports the closure of the vocal folds and gets everything in sync and gives you that acoustic boost that you're looking for.
Yeah, that was a great answer. This is so much fun, Matt. I just want to thank you again. And I really am in agreement with everything. It's so much fun, and I am of the same opinion. I'll just say, in my opinion, I'll also say Ingo Tietze is kind of he is the authority on what we consider inertance. But inertance, from the straw is taking space and getting it really narrowed down, and that creates this back pressure and cycling. But when I've spoken with him, my opinion, just like Matt said, we're creating, it's like our built-in amplifier, this epilaryngeal inlet that amplifies and clarifies our voice. I think almost everybody in the world agrees on that now. And and I would go on a limb and say, in my opinion, yes, you are creating inertance, but I think also we have to also realize that's a relatively recent term, and there hasn't been a lot of research done into all of the details of it. That's ongoing. So I'm going to have somebody on talking about the science of straw phonation as well. I'm hoping Ingo will join me at some point as well. But yeah, definitely go to YouTube. And what's his website? The
National Center for Voice and Speech.
I
think it's ncvs.org.
Yeah, I think
he's
so
brilliant. Is an incredible person. He's a great human being. So.
Yeah, it's an incredible person and been doing it for a very long time. That is the correct link, and they do have a lot of wonderful information. So thanks for nerding out with us. And remember, getting all of these details serve one purpose, and that is to help expand and change your perception of singing. And when you do that, things in your voice will change. Always remember to get some guidance from a professional coach, because we all need professional coaching. And have a great day and have fun singing. Remember, it's about joy, artistry, and being yourself and expressing yourself musically.